Hey everybody, it's Desiree and welcome to Road to Par, the podcast. Here we'll be helping you enhance your golf experiences through a little education, a little entertainment, and events and travel. So stay tuned. We have some live interviews that'll be coming up and just talking more in depth about the golf community and where we are, where we've been, and where we're going. So stay tuned for your Road to Par. All right. Woo!
Back up. There
Back
we go.
up.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, listen, it's hot out there, folks. So welcome everybody to Road to Par, the podcast. I am Desiree, your host, and thank you for joining us for another episode, which we are excited to have RJ Johnson, Director of Operations, PGA Pro, here at Woodmore Country Club. First of all, thank you for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. We are so excited. So one of the great things this year, folks, is that RJ's actually been an integral part of Road to Par having a home course, which is Woodmore Country Club. Country Club of Woodmore. And we couldn't be more excited. The course is in absolutely amazing shape.
It is. Yeah, it's in good shape. We're just got to get past this heat, and we're hoping, knock on wood, for tomorrow is the day that starts, we're hoping. So
nice. It's been very hot. I think
it has been too
heat
hot.
Index is like 100 a few times. That's pretty crazy.
Yes. Yeah. We switched to car path only in the afternoons after or days that we hit the 100-degree index with the heat index. So hopefully just to save some turf out there just in case.
I'm sure not everyone's happy about car path.
Not everyone, but it works out in the long run. People forget about it in a couple weeks. So.
Well, I'll tell you, I have fun out here, and it's such a playable course.
It is.
You kind of really don't even notice it. I mean, I'm just going to tell y'all, just hit it near the car path, right? Just hit the ball near the car path. If it was that easy, right?
Yeah, it's that simple.
So, tell me a little bit about RJ.
Yeah. So I played golf in high school, enjoyed it, decided to make it a career. So I went to Penn State for professional golf management. From there, I graduated and I went down to the Outer Banks as a golf pro, as an assistant golf pro, kind of worked my way up through the ranks. Left there, moved up to the Northern Virginia area. I was the membership director at Piedmont Club, and then I kind of transferred over to Woodmore as the Director of Operations, GM.
Okay. Well,
position.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. And where are you from originally?
Originally from Pennsylvania, Erie, Pennsylvania. So Erie, a
lot
of snow, but it's fine.
So one extreme to the next. We have snow, and then we have lots of humidity and heat.
Yes.
So PGA, PGM.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's the professional golf management degree. I went to Penn State and got it. Before going in, you have to, one, get into the school, but then either a golf coach, PGA professional from the area, somebody that's giving you lessons that's PGA professional, has to sign off that you're at least a 12 handicap.
Okay.
Then when you get to Penn State, you basically do, we do a lot of business stuff, so we get a minor in business as well. And then we do a lot of our PGA book work that actually comes from the PGA that basically goes over cart fleet management, rules and regulations, fittings, teaching, all kinds of different stuff. Has a bunch of different sections that you go through.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. So.
Now, PGM program, PGA Pro, there's a trajectory that starts with a test, right?
Yes, so you have to, while you're there, you have to play what's the PAT, playing ability test.
Okay.
And every PGA Pro has to pass it. Now, it's rating times 2 plus 15. So you play 36 holes in a day, and that's kind of the formula, the roundabout formula, but it can vary based on whether something's playing out of bounds that day, or if it's playing lateral, or if the pins are back or pins are tucked, or we're in the middle of the greens.
There's a lot of variations.
A lot of variations, but it's usually somewhere between 174 and 178. So you got to kind of fire a 75, 77, 76, 78.
That's all, folks. Just around 75 or something. That's it. Not much.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. I think I passed mine on my third try, maybe.
Okay.
but I made it easy. My first round I went out, I think I shot like 71 or 72. So then I can kind of just glide in with like an 80 or an 81 and pass. So.
Now you said you passed on your third try.
Correct.
So how many times are you allowed to take it?
You can take it as many times as you want. So there's kind of an inside golf joke in the golf world called the PAT Tour, where some guys kind of sit on it for a while. Some guys never pass it. Some guys pass it on their first try. Some guys never pass it. If you're in the golf industry, you're playing a lot, you should be able to pass it ability-wise, and a lot of guys can't pass it just purely ability.
Okay.
But it's more of a mental grind, in my opinion, because you stand on the first tee and you wipe your first drive out of bounds, and at that point you're like, oh no, like
it wipes you out.
Yeah, you're like okay, I can only do that 3 or 4 more times before I really get into the nitty gritty. And you're on your first hole. You still got 35 more holes after that. So
well, I'm gonna tell you, I have my own little experience with the PAT. So as some of you all know, I went to the Golf Academy of America, and I did the PAT like once or twice down at Coastal Carolina, the Hackler course. And I'll tell you, I mean, it's a completely different game. I literally, so like if you and I went out and played, we're gripping and ripping, right?
Yeah, I'm playing against you. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, you hit one out of bounds. I'm just playing.
We're just playing.
Yeah.
But if you play this PAT, it is strategic. It is systematic. It is, I don't even think I used a driver at times.
I didn't hit a driver at all 36 holes. I played 5-wood.
Wow.
I was just, keep it in play.
Yeah.
It's mainly trying to avoid doubles. That's what you want to do, right? I mean, obviously you can't make 36 bogeys and say you pass, but eliminate the high numbers and just get on the green and 2-putt. So
makes it sound so easy. Just get on the green, 2-putt, keep it moving.
But the easiest way I did it was I tried to break it down into 3 holes at a time. So I know 1 through 3, my goal is to just be 1 over through the first 3 holes. Okay. And then the 4th hole starts, I'm like, okay, I got 1 bogey to spare from 4 to 6. 4 through 6. And that way it's one every. You're shooting like 78 at that point. Okay. So 78 is what, 156. So you're right in that neighborhood of where you need to score.
It's interesting when we're talking about like scoring, right? And I know you had mentioned earlier that you consider yourself an average golfer.
Yeah. And
I will honestly say, like, I've done a little statistical research, and so the average golfer, I mean, they're generally shooting 90, 100.
Yeah, I would say. I think if you shoot in the 80s, you're in the top 20%. And I think if you shoot in the 70s, you're in the top 5%. And anything else is kind of average. So average is probably right around 90 and above, 90 to 100, somewhere in there.
But he's average, y'all. I don't know.
I call myself average because I know when I play with other golf pros, I lose a lot of money.
Oh, we need to win this money back. Come on, win it back.
So I'm average with who I play with.
I understand. I understand. Yeah. So, and there's a myth there, right? So he's PGA, and I don't know if anyone else has thought it, but I've often heard, well, you work at a golf course. You must play all the time. Is that the case?
No, unfortunately not. I wish it was. I think our dream always, going into it, we always think it's going to be that. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's not as luxurious as that. I mean, I've played Woodmore before, and I've played it a lot since I've been in the area. But since I've been in the job in February, I've only gotten out, I think, for the first 6 holes. Now, I've driven the golf course once a week since I've been here.
You're like, fix this, fix that. This needs to look better.
But I haven't got as much playing time as I'd want. But hopefully once COVID settles down and I have all the right people in place, we can kind of get back to playing a little bit more. Okay. Get out there with the members.
Now, playing more members, and you mentioned COVID. So how has COVID affected Woodmore for you?
So obviously with all the restrictions are one of the obvious things. So we can only do 50% dining, gatherings are very limited, masks throughout the clubhouse, pools at 50% capacity, kiddie pools closed, no towel service. Those are the obvious ones. When it comes to like a business standpoint, golf is surging. I mean, golf. We ran the numbers, and between my last club, the golf pro I was with last week, he told me his numbers, what he was at, and what we were at. through June, my old club had done 24,000 rounds. So from January to June. In 2019, they only did 24,000 rounds all year round.
Wait, so in 6 months
they doubled it.
They've doubled their
Correct.
rounds.
And that's the same story here with Woodmore. I mean, we've on July 23rd when we ran the numbers, we had already done around 8,000 rounds. Or I'm sorry, 15,000 rounds we've already done. And we only did 15,000 rounds in total in 2019. So we've doubled as well. So and that's Virginia didn't even get to close for a month.
Right. Oh, they were wide open.
Virginia just kept playing.
They're like, we're gonna keep this going.
Yeah, their governor must be a golfer, but
sounds about
right. But Maryland, we stopped for a week, a month and a week, something like that, and we're still doubled the amount of rounds. And I think it all is due with working from home.
Right.
Traveling's not as heavy. Kids aren't doing travel sports, so there's a lot of variables where people are at home more. So
now with these larger amount of rounds, I know public courses. So for folks who are just tuning in, public courses are like you pay as you go type thing, right? So you just show up, you pay your money, you go play. And then we have the private clubs, which Woodmore is, and then we have some semi-private clubs where you pay as you go and you can have a membership. And public courses need people in there, constantly coming in. Private clubs is a little different, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, difference between us and Enterprise or their money is all from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
That's it.
That's it. That's their money comes in during the day and that's it, and then they close. For a private club, a big piece of our revenue is, one, not flooding the golf course, stacking it up from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., just stack, is, private events, outings, Monday outings, and weddings, and anniversary parties, and things of that nature. So the club as a whole, when it comes to golf, we're up, revenue-wise, but as a club as a whole, we're kind of down, and that's just dealing with weddings and banquets and a la carte, just regular off-the-menu dining isn't happening as much as it normally does. But it's still we're still going to be fine. It's nothing that we're in trouble about. It's just, I think overall, COVID will actually help golf in the long run. Because like I said, we've doubled our rounds in 6 months. We still have 6 more months to go, or 5 more months to go with golf, and we're only going to see a giant surge of golf. So I'm hoping, once all the numbers shake out, maybe we get some statistics from the PGA that some people that have laid the sticks down for the last couple years have picked them back up because they're working from home or they can get out more or whatever it may be, and they get back into it and they start playing more and they start, they learn to love the game again. Whatever reason they may have put the golf clubs away in the garage, now that they're out and dusted off, hopefully that gets them back in it. And we've even seen, and I was talking, we had TaylorMade out here, I think 2 Wednesdays ago, and they're actually seeing that their conversion rate, because how they've been doing their fittings now has been like appointment only, right? So it's, how when you used to do demo days, it was like all the clubs are out there. Everybody kind of runs up and grabs things and hits and grabs things and hits.
Right.
But TaylorMade said that they're actually doing better with okay, you're at 3:30, and they might be only talking to 20 people instead of 200 people.
Right.
But those 20 people are all buying clubs.
Well, and actually, I have a fitting coming up tomorrow with PXG.
Nice.
You all are bringing PXG out to the club.
Correct.
And I signed up, and so I actually had a conversation with Doug, who is in charge of
tonight.
No.
They're out there right now.
I guess I'm going there after this. Oops. I did pick the last one. But, and we talked, and he said, things are just pretty busy, right? It's constant, it's nonstop, it's, never ending. Yeah. And so, like you said, it is a resurgence of, oh my God, it's golf time, right? It's not about the players, right? So we just got PGA Tour back recently.
Correct.
Not all the tours are back. So, we're dealing with kind of bits and pieces of a tour.
Correct.
But it truly is about the golfer. It's about the people who are going to play. It's about the people who say, you know what, I don't have anything to do.
Yeah. And
the one sport that I can play now is golf.
Correct. Yeah. And I was shocked when they decided to close golf for Maryland, because it didn't make sense to me. It's the only thing really when it comes to any sport. It's all your own equipment.
Right.
It's your golf ball.
Well, if you're not a golfer, you don't see it that way, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, from a safety perspective, because, I mean, I will even say as a golfer, it took me like a month to like mentally say, it's okay to get out here.
Correct. Yeah.
Because we have no clue. I mean, we still don't have a clue what COVID is, what it's doing, what it's not doing. We just know that there are people who are at higher risk.
Correct.
And so I know, especially for part of our demographic in the golf community, they are older.
Yep.
And so they very much, and very rightfully so, are taking their time. So, where you might have larger groups of golfers come out, we might have smaller groups. They still might come out, but they're not going to book like the 20 folks coming out because they're part of an organization.
Correct, yeah.
But you'll have one-offs come out either to walk the course or, and so I think that education is key. And I'm sure you would agree with that in terms of don't stop what you're doing, but please be safe in what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think it we're making these rules for everything, and I think it really just needs to be, you got to police yourself at some point, right?
Absolutely.
Just be smart,
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to risk it, don't risk it. But,
Right.
I mean, I think things can be done safely, on your own, as long as it's done in the correct way.
And educated to know that, right?
Correct,
and
yeah.
So obviously we're talking about the golf industry, we're also talking about jobs. And so we need to make sure that people have jobs.
Yep.
We have incomes coming in and revenues to the clubs so that people can get paid. And so, we talk about the banquets that aren't existing anymore. I'm sure that's cut staffing down a little bit.
Yeah, it has. And I mean, one of the things that we tried to do here was anybody that was inside of the clubhouse, if they wanted to work outside on Adam's crew, which is our superintendent, that had the right that they could go do.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
We had a few people take it up. Some of the girls maybe not, but
Listen, that's a learned experience, and getting up
Correct.
early in the morning with supers.
100%. So
Ooh, y'all, that's an experience. That's another time. Putting carts away, pulling them out, having flashbacks.
So, but
Yeah.
that was one of the things we did. So, did the best that we could to try to fit everybody where we could.
Well, listen, RJ, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
We know you are super busy with everything at the clubhouse, which looks amazing.
Awesome. Thank you.
Folks, if you ever want to know more about Woodmore, even concert golf,
Correct.
I'll put the information for the website where you can reach RJ, and then we'll get you some information. So thank you, RJ, for joining us.
Desiree.
We're going to let him go back to handling this beautiful, amazing course and club. And stay tuned for more from Road to Par. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us for another wonderful show of Road to Par, the podcast. We just wanted to remind you that views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on Road to Par, the podcast are that of the host and Road to Par LLC. All of our guests, callers, advertisers are independently of their own. So thank you again for joining us, and look forward to having you join us on our Road to Par.